With over 2,000 demos on offer, Steam Next Fest can be a bit overwhelming. While the festival is a great way for indie devs to shine a light on their upcoming releases, it's just as likely that their demo will not be found by most of its audience. That's where we at So Many Games come in. We're shining a light on the games that definitely deserve your love during this February's Next Fest. Welcome to the first volume of So Many Demos.
I've always been drawn to mystery and misery.
Kicking things off as we present these games in alphabetical order is the first sequel of this list, Duck Detective: The Ghost of Glamping. For his second playable adventure, Eugene McQuacklin is summoned to a luxury campsite that might just be haunted. Or is our heroic detective just haunted by the shadows of his past? Once again, he will investigate the crime scene, interview key witnesses and make brilliant deductions to quack the case. The first game was a brilliant little adventure, and this sequel looks like it builds upon those foundations. Next up, become a witch and restore the Grimore Groves to the haven it was always meant to be. In this colourful adventure, the forest spirits have disappeared, leaving the titular groves a bit worse for wear. Discover your own kind of magic as you travel through this world's dungeons, collecting fruits and crafting new spells to fill your very own grimoire. Combining roguelite dungeon crawling with farming sim elements makes for a wonderful cozy time, and I promise you'll have a blast befriending mythical creatures of all kinds. And if you do enjoy the demo, you only have to wait until the end of Next Fest to dive into the full game as it releases March 4th. Question: when taking the bus, do you have a particular seat you like to sit at every time? If you do, you might understand the people in Is This Seat Taken?, a delightful puzzle game where you help out people with finding their perfect spot, whether that is in a crowded taxi or at an event like a wedding. This game was featured during the most recent Wholesome Games Direct, and it seems Poti Poti Studio are onto a winner here, with its combo of delightful art and funny gameplay winning just about everyone over. Here's hoping they find the perfect spot when it comes to a release date.
I will find you. I will kill you.
In case the aforementioned Duck Detective didn't feature enough investigating for you, or if you prefer your crimes a bit more serious, then you can't go wrong with Kathy Rain 2 Soothsayer. Yes, the queen of down-and-out private eyes returns for another point-and-click adventure in which she chases a murderer known only as the Soothsayer. Travel back to the late 90s to find Kathy in a bit of a mess. Her life is going off the rails when an opportunity to get back on track reveals itself. However, going after this Soothsayer might become a bit more personal than she had considered, as the hunter just might become the hunted. Can you solve this case in time? Now, we couldn't make a list of indie games without at least one of them dealing with death, could we? That's where Kulebra Souls of Limbo comes in. Inspired by Latin American mythologies, this game sees you play as Kulebra, a bright soul who can change the cycles many of the recently deceased find themselves stuck in. Can you help them deal with the traumas they cannot leave behind, so they can finally move on? Discover their fates, and that of Limbo itself, in this incredibly colourful and simply gorgeous adventure game.
Queen enters the board.
Our next game is another sequel, with Lost in Random: The Eternal Die being a standalone adventure set in the same world as its predecessor. This time around, you play as Queen Alexandra and her die companion Fortune in a roguelike adventure game. The beautifully gothic world of Random is once again brought to life in a fascinating way, with the Queen making her way through 4 different biomes. The once great ruler of Random is on a quest for vengeance and redemption, attempting to defeat an ancient evil.
Let's go to the gun, come on, monsters bring it.
From battling monsters we move on to dating them? Yes, Beautiful Glitch is back with another game set in the Monster Prom world with MonsterCon. This multiplayer dating sim sees most of your favorite characters return as they visit a nerdy convention and try to find romance. It's a return to the gameplay of the original game, after the series' more recent outings took things in a different direction. But it won't just be a case of deja vu. MonsterCon also presents enough new additions, like making your own comic, to keep things fresh. Is this the game where you finally date Liam? 2025 already seemed like it might be the biggest year for roguelike deck builders, with games like Slay the Spire 2, Nights in Tight Spaces and Die in the Dungeon all releasing. And that was before we got the announcement for Monster Train 2 just last week. Yes, once again you are tasked with guiding your train, but this time it's heaven that needs protection. With the Titans causing chaos there, it's up to a coalition of holy and not so holy creatures to find a way to stop heaven from being destroyed. With new clans, new enemy factions, new challenges and new modes, but gameplay that still feels very similar, this is going to be a sequel for the ages. Kaizen Games created an all-time classic with their debut game Paradise Killer, but rather than give us a sequel, they've gone for something rather different with their follow-up. Yes, it's another open-world adventure, but this time you are exiled to a cursed Japanese town. Here, mascots aren't just fluffy brand ambassadors, they're living, breathing beings. Together with these mascots, you have to save the town when disaster strikes, all the while trying to make your agency the best one in the country. Whether you're helping a living finger deal with her anger issues or trying to solve your own exile, you'll be in for an absolute blast with this game. Our next game, Reignbreaker, might look a little familiar. Yes, this action roguelike wears its influences, mainly Hades, on its sleeve, but thanks to its gorgeous visual style and its own gameplay finesses, it becomes so much more than a copy of its main inspiration. Set in a colorful dystopian medieval world, the game sees you play as Clef, a rebel trying to overthrow the corrupt and vicious queen. Can you become the Reignbreaker, the one who brings prosperity to the people? Or will the queen's troops beat you down before you ever make it to the throne? If you're of a certain vintage like yours truly, you might miss the days of colorful 3D platformers like Mario 64 or Banjo and Kazooie. Have no fear though, as Ruffy is here to teleport you back to those glorious days with Ruffy and the Riverside. The game takes clear inspiration from those legendary titles, but adds its own spin by giving you the ability to copy and paste textures within the levels. Make previously unreachable areas more approachable by turning the water surrounding it into something else entirely, and try to defeat the big villain from destroying the world core before it's too late. Filled with colorful characters, this game is a loving tribute to the games from a millennial's youth and has been updated to play like a modern great. Developer Cyberwave might be going a little viral at the moment with Surprise Hit, a game about digging a hole, but I've long been looking forward to their next game, Solarpunk. This survival game is set in a breathtakingly gorgeous world of floating islands where you can use your advanced technology to create the life of your dreams. The full game will offer co-op play, but in a demo you get a solo taste of the cool things you get to do in this world. Whether it's traveling between islands on your airship or using solar, wind or water energy to power your technology, you will not get bored. So set off foraging materials, build your first house and befriend a little chicken, and start dreaming of which islands you'll visit in the future. Power Wash Simulator made all of us realize how much we like it when things just look incredibly clean again. But what's better than cleaning something up like that? Making them more colorful, of course. Enter Spray Paint Simulator, a game that clearly knows what made its inspiration so good, but takes it up another level. Breathe new life into worn out surfaces with a new lick of paint, and make sure to cover every inch to get a perfect finish. Don't just go for the satisfaction of a job well done though. Unleash your creativity and make everything from houses to giant robots look like something completely unique thanks to your beautiful colors. I'm a big fan of games that take something classic but introduce it in a completely unexpected way, just like Balatro did for poker. Squeakross Home Squeak Home is far cozier than Local Thug's classic though, combining interior decoration with the fun of nonogram puzzles. You get to customize your own little rodent, putting them in fun outfits and decorating their room into a beautiful place to live in. The nonogram puzzles work really well, and your rodent friend can even help you out with them if you get stuck. But it's the interactions with your new pet that will be the star of this game. Are you one of those people who watched Robert Eggers' creepy The Lighthouse and thought, I wonder what it's like to lose my mind confined to a space like that? Then Solar Suit Games have you covered with Static Dread 15 Nights at the Old Lighthouse. The devs describe the game as Lovecraft meets Papers, Please, which might be the most intriguing premise of any Next Fest game this year. Help ships make it to shore using the lighthouse's light and your radio, and if you can, try to survive the mythical dangers surrounding you as well. With the game's difficulty ramping up with every night you spend in the tower, this should become a pretty tense fortnight. Now, it would have been nigh on negligent not to feature a cozy farming sim on this list, so that's where Sugardew Island comes in. Developed by a tiny indie team, the game chooses to be uncomplicated in its mechanics and systems, allowing you to run your farm shop as comfortably as possible. Farm crops and tend to your animals and sell all the results of your labor to the cute forest folk. Doing so will enable you to bring this once thriving island back to its wonderful self again. By restoring harmony, life will return and the spikes of corruption left by previous inhabitants will disappear. If you enjoyed the Nintendo DS Harvest Moon games, you will adore Sugardew Island. Developer Strange Scaffold have been consistently knocking it out of the park recently, and it seems that they don't intend to stop just yet. Their first licensed game, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tactical Takedown, is an interesting take on your classic Turtles beat-em-ups, with this one being turn-based. Yep, you'll have to carefully work out how to fight the Foot Clan this time, as they outnumber you vastly. In this timeline, the Turtles have drifted apart after the death of their master, and it's up to you to bring them back together to thwart the Foot Clan once and for all. They seem to have big plans, even infiltrating the Turtles' own hideaway at the start of the game to retrieve something. Can you stop them before it's too late?
I have lost you all.
What do you do after you create an instant classic like Unpacking? If you're Witchbeam, you make a musical puzzle game, where everything seems to be bound by this rhythmic heartbeat. It's a pretty bold move, as they could have made things so much easier for themselves, but then again, why should we even doubt the makers of such a classic? With Tempopo, it looks like they've got another hit on their hands. You play as Hannah, whose garden of musical flowers has been scattered across a sky full of beautiful islands. Rescue the flowers and create your own gorgeous harmony in this colorful world filled with the most beautiful music.
I'm not meant to be here.
To finish the video, we've got an Annapurna Interactive double headliner. First off, travel to the gorgeous world of Wanderstop. Created by the people behind the Stanley Parable, this game is a beautiful response to a world that is pushing more and more people to the brink of burnout. You play as Alta, a previously undefeated warrior who has lost everything dear to her. She's so exhausted, she can't even pick up her own sword anymore. On her way to find a master who can train her back to greatness, she stumbles upon Boro and his curious tea shop. He invites you to stay over, have some tea, maybe even work in the shop for a while to take your mind off things. Forage and grow your own ingredients and use the magical tea machine to create delicious drinks. The game doesn't have any deadlines or timers, but just offers you a place to get away from it all. But can Alta find peace here as well?
And what's weird is that I actually feel good.
And finally, grab your bike in the newest game by the creators of Nidhogg, Wheel World. As Cat, you are chosen by Scully, an ancient cycling spirit to help them save the universe. You do this by riding your bike through a gorgeous looking world, collecting reputation that allows you to take on bigger challenges, and upgrading your bike along the way. The devs have absolutely nailed the feeling of riding your bike, and the joy there is to be had with taking things a bit more slowly. The game allows you to do everything at your own pace as well, so whether you carry out your destiny as quickly as possible or take your time to explore what else this world has to offer is completely up to you. Phew! That was our first list of demos to check out from this February 2025 edition of Steam Next Fest. Have you played any of these? Do you recommend others? Let us know in the comments below or tag us on your favorite social media. Leaving a like on this video helps us a lot, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this, with a second Next Fest video coming this Friday. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.